Okay, it's now or never. I thought I'll just get or hop on this live and test out the sound, see how it's working. I haven't been on a live in the longest time, and part of it has been a procrastination on my part. And I thought today, before I go for a walk, let me just hop on here and connect with you with something that was on my mind. And the topic at hand was something about how to start fighting for yourself and overcoming the why me reason. And the words that were coming to mind were something along the lines of remaining in this state of like victimhood, not as to negate anybody's experience, but it's just just something that we go through as part of like being diagnosed with like a chronic and severe condition. So it's understandable to be in that state of mind where you feel like, why me, and to be there in the longest time, especially if you don't have the support systems in place and you're not aware of it. And then the other thing that came to mind as well was just my experience, like this past few days, where I go through these moments where I feel like I'm feeling like very creative. I have like all these ideas. I'm enthusiastic. I go through the emotions. Then I reach a certain stage where I just have nothing at all to give, no energy, nothing. And part of it, I'm still working out why that happens. And the other part, I know that it's also due to some symptoms of fibromyalgia. It could also be like cognitive factors, and then just also just normal for like your mind to be exhausted. So let's go on to the topic about like fighting for yourself and things that I've done to help me to overcome that. So just in terms of when I was newly diagnosed, one of the first things that I did for myself, and I knew I had insight because I'd had years of training in psychotherapy, and I'd also, from a young age, decided to seek talking therapies. So I think from an earlier stage, I had insight into things that could help me mentally. So fortunately, when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I knew that I needed to surround myself with an optimistic outlook. I attempted joining like Facebook groups, finding like resources online for groups that were like helpful to help me learn more about like my symptoms and just to connect with other chronic illness warriors who were going through like a similar experience that I could resonate with. I tried that for like a few months with, I can't even remember the name of the community group. If I ever find it, I'll link it onto this video. I tried that and it worked as it helped me with like gaining some insight. I tried some Facebook groups, and with some of the Facebook groups, I found it a challenge for me because I was in a stage where I wanted to overcome some of like my challenges, and I didn't find it beneficial for myself to be in groups where people were mainly feeling very sad about the symptoms or about the diagnosis. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's about determining what's best for you. What I found most helpful for me was to focus more on solution focused ways that could help me because I was already in a state of feeling very vulnerable, very sad, and also going through grief processes. I thought the best thing that I could ever do for myself was to find ways to overcome the mindset challenges and the physical challenges. So, some of the experiences that you may also relate to, I just jotted it down before I came on here, is anger, grief, and rebellion. So, what anger looks like is this isn't fair, mourning the old you, and feeling though you deserve better, but you don't know how to get off that. So I knew that one of the things that I needed to do for myself was to go through the grieving process and how I could help myself go through that. was to seek additional support aside from rehab services that I was receiving from the hospital that I was going to at the time. So I sought an additional support system, which was talking therapies, psychotherapy, and that was something that I was familiar with. And what that allowed me to do, and if you have that opportunity, it can be helpful if you have the resources, the financial resources to do so. It can be helpful. There might also be like free counseling services. It can be helpful to help you to have a space where you can just talk freely, judgment free, be able to voice your concerns, be able to cry it out, to help you also learn about what it means to grieve, and then to learn about what it could mean to live with a condition, which we know for most of us, we've been informed that it's incurable, although the symptoms can vary in severity, but it's the symptoms that can be subtle, and then they can also become severe, just depending on what is going on, the triggers, internal and external factors. So therapy helped me with that. It helped me to look at who I was losing, I felt like I was losing, and then who I could become as a person living with a chronic illness condition. And then also how to like address some of the issues such as, isolation, and also changing in terms of losing some type of like social connections. As we know, with fluctuating conditions, it's very difficult to maintain consistency in social outings. So you develop a new way of managing that. And so part of like the fighting for myself was about also realizing that I couldn't remain in this state of the why me forever, because the why me would then become my cage, and then I would be trapped in that, and there would be no other means for me to learn how to live in a different way. Okay, it would only be living in sorrow and in I was physically in pain, but I wanted something beyond that, because I'm already stuck with the misery. I'm already stuck with the sorrow. There has to be something else beyond that. And so moving beyond that was about accepting what my new reality was. As painful as it was just accepting that this is me now. This is who I am. And then also to look at letting go of guilt. And I'm looking at my other screen. It's just things like, the mindset traps, where you think because you're now inflicted with a chronic condition, and there's certain things that you can't do realistically. And some of the challenges I faced were not being able to do tasks as I used to be able to do. Even up to date, I have to manage them in a different way. But then it was more painful. So it was just about letting go of guilt, to say that, for instance, I'm not lazy, and there are ways of overcoming some of these challenges. If I can't do it realistically, it's how I manage it in a small way. And in order to be able to get to that, I had to fight for myself. Okay, I had to fight for myself in that it was okay to let go. It was okay to let go of the need to always to do things to completion. Okay, it was okay to let go of some of the perfectionist tendencies of wanting to be able to do everything to completion, or the way I was used to doing that. So it was more about doing things in a slower paced way, and I had to do that with support, and it wasn't easy. So I think fighting for yourself is also about accepting that it's okay to receive support. It's okay to be vulnerable. And it's also okay to acknowledge that you have to let go of some of the things that you weren't able to manage before. It's not an immediate transition. It's something that happens over a prolonged period. And you do that because it's for the better outcome of you mentally and physically. Because as we know, there are ups and downs and challenges when we continue to persistently do things which our body and mind is saying you can't realistically do. So I'll just sum it off. I wanted to just hop on this live really quickly. Don't know how it's going to come out, like in terms of like the sound, the volume. It's also testing myself after like a few days of going through this trough where I was like on a peak, and then the past few days I was just like, my mind mentally was just like, I need to just ride through whatever this is, the slowness of me not wanting to do anything and accept what it is. That's another way of fighting for yourself, by the way. And just let go of any guilt and allow your body to do what it's telling you at that moment. And that's what I did. So today I've decided that since I've overcome that mindset and physical barrier, it's now time to embrace what I haven't done in the past few days, is to go for a walk. So if you're watching this and if you've just caught it off by chance, feel free to say hey, and I'll connect with you next time. I'll hop on here whenever I have some other random thought. Bye for me for now.